Stitchy Mitch. I'm back for another update video in January of 2019. Today is January 29th, so in South Mississippi, today's a snow day. We didn't get snow, or at least there wasn't any snow. There was some ice. I guess it may have been snow, but when I got up to go check on the chickens this morning, it was just super cold and windy, and it's been super cold and windy all day, but no snow. But that's okay because I didn't have to go to work today. I worked most of the day, which was nice because it helped me catch up on some things that I still need to do. But it was nice that I didn't have to go in and teach classes today. But I figured I would take the afternoon to spend some time in my craft room cleaning up and record this video. The day I recorded my last video, I had left on a trip with my sisters and my friend Lisha to meet up with our friends Ray, Katrina, and Tangela in Tennessee to have a finishing weekend. So we brought all these cross-stitch projects and other projects with us and we finished them. So it was an FFO weekend and we had a great time. I'll insert a picture either here or probably at the end of the video of our brag table. So as we finish things, we would put it on this long table. So at the end, we would just have this amazing amount of FFOs. And I'll remember to insert that in the video. And I'll have some of those of my FFOs to share with you today. In addition to that, I'm going to give you an update on my whips that I've been working on, talk about some future plans, and also talk about some purchases. Because when we drove up to Tennessee, we stopped in Decatur at what I call my LNS, Cross Stitch Peddler. Marlene is the owner of that shop and she's super sweet. So I had some purchases, some really neat things that I found at her shop. I always find really neat things at her shop. Okay, so what I'm going to do is first talk about the finishes that I've had since my last video. And these are primarily the FFOs from our finishing weekend. So I've got them stacked in different areas and I'm going to just kind of show them to you and then shuffle things. So I'll probably pause the video at times so I can just shuffle. All right, so these are not in any particular order, but here's one of the first ones. This was out of one of the Halloween Just Cross Stitch magazines. This is the Frosted Pumpkin Trick-or-Treaters. And I just mounted it on sticky board and then mounted this fabric on sticky board, glued it all together and made a little ornament. I'm trying to make more of these little Halloween ornaments of different types because this past year I bought a Halloween tree. And a few videos back you can see I'm sitting in front of it. It's a gray to black tree. So I want to decorate it with a bunch of cross-stitch ornaments. So that's one of my FFOs. The next four are similar finishes, but this is a series from Lizzie Kate called Samplings. So this is Sampling Easter. I just added trim around the mounted piece, and this actually has batting underneath it to make it a little squishy, and then that's pretty fabric. You just hang it with a ribbon. And the charm is adorable. So that's Lizzie Kate Sampling Easter, I believe. This is Lizzie Kate Sampling Halloween. So same kind of finish. And just really pretty Halloween fabric. So that's three. My fourth is Sampling Thanksgiving, with that tiny little acorn charm. And then just autumnal fabric. And then the last of this kind of finish is the Sampling Christmas, which is really pretty. So in Tennessee, we were all staying at the Drury, and we actually had a room that we could use that we could just spread out. There were just, 7 of us. And so I had brought a whole bag of different fabrics that I've had through the years. And I just took a corner of the room and just spread them out. I mean, it was everywhere. Just spread them out. And then we could just walk around and pick fabric for our finishing. And I think only the person, me and maybe my sister Sharon, maybe Bridget, used some of the fabrics. But at least it was just nice to have all that room to kind of sort and see what we were looking for. I also worked on some of those wool applique blocks. I've talked about these in my last video. It's a free block of the month club that I'm in, and I had 10 blocks. I finished 2. I'm down to 1 more that I need to finish. And the weekend that we left for it wasn't a retreat, the finishing weekend, I got a notification that the designer was feeling better and had released the 11th block. So I've ordered that kit. So hopefully I can finish the 10th block before the supplies for the 11th block gets here. But here's another one of them. So cute. And I finished this one. So hopefully we'll get the instructions on how to piece all this together soon. All right, these next 4 are AFFOs. They're almost fully finished because I need to put a ribbon on them. But these are those no-sew blocks, and this is the Country Cottage Needleworks monthly cottage series. Whoop! Excuse me. All right. So this is May. So adorable. I just used that fabric. And I Googled or I looked online for a no-sew cube tutorial a while back. And then Katrina is like the expert on no-sew cubes. So she also gave me a refresher at our little get-together. Here's June. I think that's really pretty. I love the little ladybugs. And then I just used this fabric. Here's July. And I've already shown you something that had the same fabric. I think that Easter piece, but I love that fabric. So vibrant. And then August. And I have had a ribbon that matched this. I just need to get ribbons to match the other ones. Actually, this ribbon came from Sharon, my sister. I now have January through September completed in that series. I just need to stitch the last 3 and finish those. So maybe that'll be on my stitch 9. I've got through the end of this week to get that together, but I really want to finish that series. Oh, here's some more finishes. I also finished the Basket Full of Wintertime from Brenda Gervais, and I just followed the instructions on her pattern to finish this with just the rickrack. So cute. And then I have 3 that go together. These are also AFFOs. I have to put a stem on it. But this is from Prairie Grove Peddler. It's the 3 pumpkins chart. And so it's a rectangle. You know, I just stitched it one long piece, and then you sew it together and make it into a pumpkin. And then these veins here are just thread that I've pulled a little bit tighter. And I just want to put a stem on it. None of the ladies would go out in the woods with me and find stems in Franklin, Tennessee, but I'll try to get that this weekend. And then here's the small from that series, and then the medium. So cute. And Katrina actually was working on the, which one was it? It was Erica Michaels' Luck Berry. The linen berry, and she had some wool felt, green felt, and she gave me that to make little leaves for my pumpkin. So those are AFFOs. I have a teeny tiny little finish. I don't know where I put it. Well, I guess I will find it as we go through. So I did a lot of framing. So here are the things that I framed up while we were at our get-together. This is Apple Stitches from Jeanette Douglas Designs. And this is a frame that I got at probably a thrift store because it had something else in it. It's just an 8x10. This series of hers, if you stitch it on 32 count, it fits into an 8x10 frame. And I'm actually going to take that to my mom this weekend. She loves apples. Here's a bird's eye view from Kathy Barrick. And this is a $2 frame from Hobby Lobby from their clearance section. I just think that is beautiful. That's one of my favorites. This is Summerfield by Not Forgotten Farm. And this is a frame, one of their open frames at Hobby Lobby. Originally it's $22. I got it when they had their frames 50% off. And I love this. I just think that it makes the sheep stand out. When I did not have this frame, that sheep really blended into the background. But that is so pretty. This is one of my favorites. This is another Not Forgotten Farm. This is Blue Belschnickel. And this is a huge frame. I got this in the clearance. This was a $20 frame originally. I got it for $5, excuse me, from Hobby Lobby. And I'm certain the reason why is the corners do not match up. Let me see if you can see that right there. When they cut the frame, the corners don't match up, and people don't like that. I don't blame them. But when you hang it on the wall, it's okay. But I just think this is cute. I love this finish. And it is heavy. So that's Blue Belschnickel. There's another one that turned out really beautifully. This is the Wee Beasties, I think it's 3, the Ladybugs. And this is just a frame I got at a thrift store. And when I was ironing it, I was using the Best Press, and all these little water spots are from the Best Press. They didn't come out. So I sprayed it more to make it look blotchier. It's not too bad. But I love that. I'm taking that to work to hang in my office. And I guess this is the last one of the frame pieces. This is Cherry Hollow Farm by Stacy Nash Primitives. This was an exclusive to Nordencraft. It was a kit that they sold at Market, I think in 2015. And Nordencraft is closed, so you can't get this anymore. I know when I was buying the kits when they were closing, I would buy them 20 at a time, and they would sell out pretty quickly. But you could probably find it on eBay, or if somebody has the chart, they'll probably sell it. But I don't know if I have the chart anymore. This frame, this was a custom frame. I actually had this cut and put together specifically for this one, so I paid a little more for that. So that's my framing finishes. Now this one is another AFFO. It's almost finished. This is the Needle Busy as a Bee from Needlewoman Busy as a Bee from Primitive Hair. And I just finished it. I started it as a flat fold because I wanted to mount it on something. But I didn't have anything, couldn't find anything. And when we were driving home, we stopped at a TJ Maxx because I love TJ Maxx. Love TJ Maxx and Tuesday Morning. And when we were looking around, Lisha found this because it has kind of the honeycomb look. So that's going to be mounted on there. And somewhere I have a ribbon. There it is. So this is the ribbon I'll probably use. I just need to get a little bit more creative to make it beautiful. But I think that's going to be pretty, and I'll hang it downstairs in my dining room. But so another AFFO. Try not to make too much noise. Okay, let's see. I did have another finish, but I just don't know where it is. It's tiny though, so it's probably under something. Let me show you this because it's another AFFO. I didn't finish it. But this is a table runner that I hand quilted. So I finished quilting that at the get together. I just have to do the binding. And the backing fabric, is this fabric here. And I just need to cut it and do the binding. But that's going to be pretty. Okay. Put that over there. And then I went ahead and prepped the last 3 of the word plays so that I can display those. So I did that during the weekend. August and September. And that's a lot. I got a lot done that weekend. And I have one more. It's a tiny little piece. It's the Bee Gathering by Threadwork Primitives. I finished it into a tiny little needle book, but I can't find it right now. So I'll find it and show it to you either later in the video or in my next video. All right, so those are my FFOs and AFFOs. What we're going to do now is move on and talk about my progress since my last video. Okay, so next I want to talk about my works in progress, or my WIPs. And if you're familiar with my channel, you know that I am a very patterned person, that I have a very specific kind of pattern as to how I work on my projects. And that's just my personality. I teach anatomy and physiology 1 and 2 at our university. And we just met with my AMP2 class yesterday for the first time. And it was so funny because I'm like, okay, those of you that were in class last semester, you know exactly what to expect. Everything's the same except the content. And one student came up to me afterwards. She goes, I love your classes. She says, everything is just exactly the same. I know exactly what to do. It's just new material. I said, exactly. I don't like to change either. Once I've figured out a good way to do things, that's the way I stick with it. So some people would get bored, but the material changes, how I do it doesn't, if that makes sense. So how do I stitch? What is my kind of pattern? I like to pick one project to work on consistently. So this year I'm picking a Brenda Gervais pattern at the beginning of each month to start, and I work on that project pretty much every day and until I get it finished. And my plan is to start it on the 1st and finish it before the end of the month. That's my plan. So this month, January, I started the Brick House Sampler that was released last year at Market. And I'll show you my progress on that in just a few minutes. I have stitched on that pretty much every day. We didn't stitch when we were at our finishing get together, but every other day I've stitched on that. And then I also have about 71 WIPs that I also want to stitch on. So to kind of touch some of those, maybe not all of them, but to work on some of those throughout the year, I have what's called a 3-day focus. So I have entered the names of all of my WIPs into the Tiny Decisions app, and I just spin the wheel, and that picks a project that I'll work on for 3 days. So a lot of people ask me, how much time do you stitch per day? I probably stitch a good 2 hours every day because I get up in the morning and do Etsy shop stuff until it's time to get ready to go to work. I go to work usually, this semester it's really great, I don't have any 8 o'clock classes, but I'm usually on campus from 8 o'clock until about 4 o'clock. And then I come home and do some laundry and clean some house and cook some dinner, and then I sit down around 7 and stitch until it's bedtime. So, and I watch FlossTube. I don't watch very much television, but if I'm sitting and watching TV, I'm stitching. So I don't, that's what I do. So I guess I do stitch fast, but I'm telling you, there are people that stitch faster than me. I've sat next to some of them, Teresa, that stitch super fast. But I love to stitch, and I've been stitching since I was 16. I stitched earlier than that, but probably I've been stitching consistently since I was about 18 years old. So I don't know. That's how I do it, and it works for me. And I haven't lost my stitchy bug since I didn't stitch very much when my children were young, but everybody that has children, you know what that's like. It's hard to stitch because they're constantly wanting you to fix them something to drink. Probably around 2006, I really got back into cross stitching. and I've been stitching like crazy since then. So, and I have other crafting stuff. You've seen some of the other things I like to do. I have to be busy. We get that from our grandmother. Honestly, I think if I would just hold cross stitching at night, I'd probably stitch in my sleep because I would feel lazy just laying there sleeping. That's what my grandmother has done to me. So anyway, I'm getting off topic. So my projects that I've worked on since my last video, I've had the brick house sampler, which I'm going to show you in just a minute. And then I've had a couple of projects that I've worked on for 3 days. So the first one I'm going to show you is the Lizzie Kate Summer Smalls. So this was a 2018 Mania start. There are 4 parts to this chart. It's Lizzie Kate Summer Smalls. And in May of last year, I started the bees, which makes sense because we're beekeepers. So last week I worked on this and I finished the bees and I started the berries. So let me show you my progress. So here's the finished piece of the bees. And I know this looks like it's really close, but this is going to be finished as a pillow, so I'm good. I freaked out when I saw how close I cut it myself, but it's going to be good. It's going to be fine. So that's done. And then I started on the berries. And this is a piece of, do I have the piece of the label? I know it's Silk Weaver. I think this is 36 or 40 count. So, but I'm excited about this one. And this was fun to stitch. I like Lizzie Kate. I love her projects. And this one particularly is really easy to stitch on. After that, I worked on, actually during that time, I also worked on this Garden Club series. I picked the 23rd of each month to work on this because this is one of mine that I want to finish this year. This was part of my Year of Whips last year, 2018, that I did not finish. And I'm on the 9th block, and this round on the 23rd, I worked on her, and I got her skirt done. But I want to finish this year. It's so pretty. And I've had a couple of people contact me about this. These charts are still available, so you can get them. All right, so I worked on that for 1 day. And then my next 3-day focus was a Barbara Anna design. And this is Halloween Heart by Barbara Anna. And I think that's really cute. And it's deceptive because it looks like it'd be super fast to stitch. It's just a couple of words and little motifs. But they're pretty big. I'm stitching this on a piece of 32 count natural, I believe. Either natural or lamb's wool. And that's how far I've gotten. I didn't spend very much time on this. But in the 3-day focus, I got the cat done and HA and the start of that little witch. But it's a lot of black. I'm just put a skein of black in there and work on that. But Barbara Anna's stuff is really cute. And that cat shows up in a lot of her projects. Okay, let's see. All right, the next thing that I'm going to be working on is Bittersweet September. So yesterday I was supposed to work on this and I didn't, and I'll explain why. But this is a Blackbird design. It's one of their Reward of Merit pin keeps. See that? That looks like it'd be a little bitty pin keep, but it's not. It's a lot of work. So this is where I am now. And in my next video, you'll see how much progress I will get in 2 days. Oh, you're shaking, sorry. You're sitting on an ironing board, by the way. Okay. I'm going to pause. Okay, so the other thing I've been working on since my last video is the Brick House Sampler from Brenda Gervais. This was my January start. And then I have a hashtag on Instagram for a stitch along. It's hashtag Jan, like January, Brick House Sampler Sal. And several people have been stitching along with me and posting their progress, and some people have already finished this, which is impressive. My goal is to finish this by the end of the month. So today's the 29th. That means I have today, tomorrow, and the next day, 3 days to finish. But here's my progress. So I am pretty close. I don't know if I'm going to get it finished. I have to repeat the bird and the tree and then the vines at the bottom. But let me tell you what worked for me to get a lot of this done. Well, number one is building that house took 3 days, 4 days. Took forever. But I joined, let me say this the right way. Let me look it up. School of Magical Stitching and Literature, Stitches and Literature on Facebook. So several of you know what I'm talking about. It's the Harry Potter Stitch Along. And I know that Sunshine Stitchers were talking about that on their last video, and EJ said something about that she got a lot of work done because of that particular SAL, because she had to get all of her homework done. And it does work. I mean, that's why I got a lot done, because my husband's like, are you going to bed? I'm like, no, I have to finish at least some of my homework. I stitched those birds and a lot of that vine at the bottom because of some of the extra credit. So these stitch alongs and being able to figure out how your projects fit into those challenges is really, really motivating. So thank you to the ladies that are in charge of that, because it's helping me stay on track and to meet other goals. So tonight I'll work as hard as I can. What I would love to do tonight is to be able to get that bird done and then at least the outline of that box underneath. So I have to do the inverse of that. If I can get that done, I think I can do the tree and the rest of that vine on Thursday. Would that be right? Yeah, Thursday. We'll see. Okay, so that's my goal, is to finish that in the next 3 days. Okay, so future plans. First of all, my plans are to start doing videos every Monday. My classes, I've got the best schedule this semester. I'm teaching a capstone course in addition to the other courses I'm teaching. And the capstone course, our seniors, they get an hour credit. So I only meet with them on Wednesdays most of the time. That leaves my Monday mornings open, so I can record my videos on Monday morning, take this to work and upload it, and then go on to my other classes the rest of the day. So hopefully I can do updates every Monday, at least this semester. In addition to that kind of plan, my stitching plans are to have a new start on February 1st. And I've shown this before, but just in case you're not familiar, my February start is going to be another Brenda Gervais, and this is Indigo Lane. This was also released last year at Market, and I love these colors. To me, this is February. My birthday is in February. Candy, our birthday's coming up. I love birthdays. But it's these greens and purples and blues, I just love that. And so I'm excited about starting that. I'm going to use the call for colors, which are primarily Weeks Dye Works, Gentle Arts, and there's one Classic Color Works. She actually uses some DMC. And I'm going to stitch this on a different color than what's called for. I love to use the fabrics that I already have. And I love to use color that kind of repeats the colors in the pattern. And so this is what I'm going to use. It's a silk weaver. It's called Forest Haven, and it's 40 count. It's going to be pretty with all those purples. Beautiful, beautiful. Brenda Gervais does not have DMC conversions for her charts, but what I'm doing for those that want to stitch along with me, I will post a DMC conversion for the based on the threads that are called for. So I'll pick out the DMCs that match those, and I'll post that here in the description box. It may be Friday before I get that posted, but you'll be able to see that. Also, I'll do another hashtag, and this hashtag will be hashtag FEB Indigo Lane Sal. So FEB for February. So if you want to stitch that, or if you are stitching that, join us on Instagram. Okay, and then let's see. I think that's all of my future plans. Yeah, because I got to work on that Bittersweet September. No, I only have that for one more day. I got to pick another project, and then I can work on some other things. Okay, let me pause again. Okay, so the last kind of segment of this video that I'm going to cover are my new purchases. So, because I purchased some things, and I'm actually going to start a new kind of, I don't know, widget or thing on my videos this year. I mentioned it a little bit in a previous video. We all talk about how easily we are enabled by different floss tubers. And there's been times when I'm watching FlossTube and I'll see something and I will immediately whip out that cell phone and go and order it. So I think those people that are enabling us so much should be acknowledged. So I'm going to keep a running total. My husband and I listened to the book Ready Player One when we went on our trip to Disney World. And if you're familiar with that, they made a movie about it, but the book is better. And one of the things in the book is that there's a scoreboard like the old arcade games. So you will see that or something similar to that over here with the top enablers of FlossTube based on my purchases. So it's only for my purchases. I'm not going to try to keep up with everybody else's. So some of these things I'm going to show you are enablement. Some of them are not. But some of what I show you may cause enablement on my part. But I'm going to keep up with my purchases. So the first one actually is due to Ray at our stitching get together. So the first one is a Tisket a Tasket. This is from Needlework Press. And apparently this was released last year at market and I did not see it. And you get this little basket and you stitch the little things in there and you finish it as a little tart in the little tart pan. And Ray had finished one of these and it was adorable. So Ray, you're on the board because you enabled me. I think it's 12 bucks. All right. Okay, and then when we stopped at Cross Stitch Peddler, I picked up several things. Usually I pick up Just Nan stuff from her because that's where I get my Just Nan little mice and things, but I picked up other things as well. One of the things was this Noel limited edition kit from Lizzie Kate, and it came with the little stitch dot and all the materials for finishing. I love those kind of projects. I got the Just Nan Witching Hour Cube because my little mice need something to sit on. And it came with the little embellishments. I also picked up this newest kind of line of things. This is the reindeer stocking for the little mice. So adorable. Plus, Marlene has lots of great things. And I've been there 5 or 6 times and I just find new things every time. And this is the primitive hair from You and I and Friends. And I just love that little bunny. He's so blocky and fat. So I'm going to stitch that. Maybe I'll do that soon. Who knows? I found this. This is actually several different patterns for wool applique or punch needle. October Folk from Not Forgotten Farms. And I guess that's it. No, this is the other exciting thing I found. I finally went over and looked at her frames and I got this frame. This is perfect for one of those monthly series from Lizzie Kate. This makes me so happy. And a little cork board. So I got that. And then I'll have to turn and get the other one. Where is it? Also got this frame. Isn't that cute with those bees on it? Can't wait to stitch something to put in there. It says it's labeled June, so I don't know what chart that was for originally, but I will find something. Also on that trip when we were in Hobby Lobby, I got a new calendar. Isn't he cute? Proud roosters. So last year I had flowers and birds. This year it's all about the roosters. Each one has a different breed, and then you can actually download them and use them as the wallpaper on your computer screen. I don't know if I'm that obsessed, but I don't know. That's cute. The other day I stopped by Books A Million and picked up my new edition of Primitive Quilts and Projects. So this is the Spring 2019 series or edition, and they've come up with another 4 project series. So this magazine is printed quarterly, and every year they seem to have one of these 4-part series. This is the first of 4 blocks in their series from last year. So I've got the second block cut out. I just need to piece it, and then I've got the fabric to do the other 2. But I'm going to do this one too, because look at this. This is what their project is. It's not a quilt, it's wool applique sewing notions. It's the first one is my sewing accessory case. And this is what the back looks like, or the outside looks like. Isn't that cute? And this is the inside. So I'm excited about that to find. I've got to find where I can order the materials. I haven't found that. Oh, it says it right there. I can order it from So Graceful Quilting. There, done. I'm going to order that. Now the next 2 are putting 2 more people on the enabler board. So I'll go with the one that was enabled first. This is cross stitching, the world of cross stitching. I don't know the edition. I think it's the newest one because I just picked it up at Books A Million with that primitive needle. I don't know. Anyway, the reason I bought it is this right here. Those little cats are too adorable. And I saw this on Jennifer Upton's video. She is really good at enabling. So that's the project. When I saw that, I thought of Ruby, Teresa's cat. And I may not stitch it, and if I do, I may just stitch the circles and make coasters out of them. But that is really, really cute. So there you go, Jennifer Upton. You're up there for $13.99. That puts you in first place. And then the last one is Pam from Just Keep Stitching. And this is kind of crazy, but when I saw her show this on her video, I'm like, I have to have that. And it's an old book, and I have a lot of this designer's books, but I didn't have this one. And it's the Pillows from Paula's Garden. And that's the reason I had to have it. I love hydrangeas, and I think that is the most beautiful hydrangea piece I've ever seen stitched. Is that not beautiful? And there's all kinds of them. Here's what the back looks like. Oh, they're so pretty. Let me see if there are more pictures on the inside. Oh, yeah. Those. That's pretty. And zinnias and roses. I guess that's it. Well, let me see if there's any at the back. Sometimes they put some at the back or in the middle. Nope, that's it. But those are pretty. So I think total I paid $9.30 for this. So Pam, you're on the board for $9.30. So I'm going to keep that running. Total, I think I'll do the top 5. And so, you know, it's like competition. Got to enable Jennifer to spend more money. But just to keep it fun. But I hope everybody has had a wonderful snow day. I think many people were off, and some of you actually did get snow. I just looked out the window and thought there was a hawk, but it's not a hawk. Okay. I lost another chicken, and we can't figure out what's getting our chickens. But apparently my husband reinforced the whole place, so hopefully they're safer now. I'll put pictures of that. I put it on Instagram, but I'll put pictures of our new chicken yard that my husband took the day off to build yesterday. Anyway, so I hope you have a good week, a good stitching weekend, and I hope to see you soon. I'm going to keep watching everybody's floss tube. Keeps me entertained and motivated. And if you need anything, just let me know. Thanks.